You will have to go back. Productivity is like a mother, okay? Because that is the, I would say that is the desired point B that we want to reach. But for you to go there, we are opening up the gap, the skills. You remember we spoke point A to point B. What is the gap? We have to fill the gap with skills. Build skills to achieve that gap to arrive at your destination. So that is what is the first thing we are doing. When it comes to skills for you to be productive, time management. Actually speaking, there is nothing called managing your time. It is actually managing yourself. When you say yourself, I'm only denoting your focus level. So in industry, when you go right now and ask Google to show how successful people are being productive, in the world, in the digital era right now, the best currency or the expensive currency that all of us are in dearth of is time, not money. Now, how many of you agree, especially working mothers like you and me, will agree to a point that money is not the currency that we are looking at. It is the time that we have for others. It is the time that we have for our task. It is the time that we have for our own self. That is what is going to matter. Now I'm saying, I want you to open up another window, one more level deep, and also telling you, one level deep if you go, it is not just the time that is expensive, it is how much your focus is going to determine how well you're managing your time. You see, under time management, there's also focus management. That will be the next topic you will see. But on an awareness level, what is time management and what are the benefits? Usually the benefits are, you can be relieved from your stress, because we just spoke a lot of anxiety that is building up every day without our consciousness. You're going to have more time, and stress relief can happen because if you have a task reduced, or if you're able to outsource, automate, delegate, or do it now so that you finish it and move on, or taking hacks of such things which is reducing your stress levels will definitely on a long term will produce good, I would rather say you will keep up your hormonal levels balanced. Because when the hormones go haywire is when you're biologically also stressed. When the body is not giving you a cooperation, your mind is also not cooperating. Thereby, your work will not be productive. Another benefit is the more you're able to manage yourself, the more you're managing your time well, efficiently. Thereby, you're getting an extra time. Extra time to spend your daily life on hobbies, family, etc. Okay? More opportunities. Obviously, less time wasted on virtual activities. You're able to produce and schedule work, which is extremely desirable for any organization or even for your family goals. An ability to realize goals, better achieve goals in a shorter length of time. That is the secret of managing time. If somebody you think is efficient, go and ask their secret sauce. They will define productivity by saying, I achieve my goals at a shorter time using limited resources. This is the secret sauce. This is the message. And how are they doing? Because they have certain skills they have developed. They are mastered in it. You might have seen in preparing one dish, you're like mastering. You exactly know what is the proportion, you exactly know what is the time, and you're a better judge. How much you know, how much you actually want, what spices, what flour, and what amount of water. You must have reached a certain mastery level that this is what it is. And then you are so good at it, you'll be able to add on more tasks, under your kitchen schedule. Because one task you are at your master level, the reason is because you are efficient enough to reduce time, to reduce the resources, and you may also be in a level where you can manage other tasks along with this. So that is where we realize, oh, maybe I'm a good multitasker. No, it's just that you have gained mastery level by deep focus at one task at one time. That is monotasking. You have mastered that, and you're able to apply. You're trying to apply that same in the next task. Thereby, when you have achieved the mastery level, you have the authority and space and time and energy level in you to add more tasks. Thereby, you can become a multitasker. Not at the initial level. I hope you see this difference. I'm telling you, if you work on this one thing, I think we can be productive. We can save our time and energy, money, resources, everything. Okay. Disadvantages are many. There could be poor workflow, wasted time. You're losing your control of your own self. The day is running you instead of you running the day. Poor quality of work and reputation is also spoiled. Even at work, at home, right? You don't have to feel, okay, this is only for working profile. No. When you're not able to be efficiently, when you're rushing things, when you're not happy with what you did, you're like cursing yourself, or you're feeling like your decision has gone wrong, you're stressed out, and you're taking it out on your children, they watch you. Mind you, all your flaws may not be visible to you, but your children do watch. And in which case, they will know these are not supposed to be the productive tips. So it is might as well better that you buckle up. Okay. And the general myth is, when you are managing your time, the first thing that we are doing is we actually deny having a problem. Most of us do this. We do not know that we have a problem. So stop saying that you don't have enough time to complete your commitments. Admit that you need to get better at managing your time. Start researching and trying techniques that will help you reach goals. Commit yourself this one thing. I'm saying for every aspect, I'm asking you to commit one thing. If you're able to take a note of it, or if it's gone deep into it, all you have to do is just take that one thing and work on it. At least in that aspect, you must be productive. So say if there is a problem, just say there is a problem. Do not deny that. Do not ignore that. Only when you are able to identify your problem and you'll be able to work on your solution. I'm telling you, you will also be able to identify the same problem in others. If you're not able to identify your own problem, you will not be able to read the same in others. Thereby, you cannot help others. You cannot have a proper influence on others. You cannot have a negotiation power. That is the leadership quality. Do not say, I'm saying build awareness so that you know your trigger points, you know your problem statement very well before punching on to your solutions. Then perfection syndrome. Perfection syndrome is, first of all, getting comfortable with your imperfection. People go back to their comfort zone and they're very cool about it. They do not know that they're in comfort zone, one. Even if they know, they want to be in comfort zone. There are two different things. Okay, that is called laziness and arrogance. There's only thin line between those two. When the laziness gets extreme, it becomes arrogance. It becomes stubborn. When somebody is stubborn, they're hardwired. They cannot rewire. It takes a lot of, it's not that they cannot, but it's going to take a lot of time for them to rewire. You can apply this to anybody, okay? Any age, any gender. The best advantage for the younger adults and the younger kids is because their brain, the neurological system is just developing. It's fastly developing. So they have a higher possibilities of rewiring themselves because they don't have filtrations. That is the reason we do the schooling is very, very important at the young age, and the education is very important because it's very absorbing mind. As we grow, the neurological system itself is not allowing, and on top of it, we are adding our filtrations, we are adding our influence to it, creating a lot of wrong lifestyle habits. It's going to be difficult for somebody to, unlearn, relearn, and become productive. So ask yourself, am I being productive? Can I get more results with a handful of imperfect tasks? What am I supposed to do from, to go to point A to point B? Be honest yourself. Reflect on your progress every week, bi-weekly, monthly. This will also help you to gain some idea on your own progress without any external forces. This is a self-reflection. Ask perspective and support. Do this. As a woman, I would strongly suggest seek advice. I will not go and say advice, but then talk to people to understand how they have gone through. It is only going to give you a multiple perspective. And you never know how much it is going to support you in your journey. Whether it's a relationship issue or it is a tough decision that you have to take on your career or your education, further education, or parenting. We're not perfect. We never arrive, right? On all these perspectives. It is a lifelong journey for us. First of all, we need to be a lifelong learner rather than insisting our children, because they're going to model who we are. It is a natural progression for them. They just going to observe and then, they will grow. So what are we doing for ourselves? Ask more perspectives from others. If you're open for multiple perspectives, that is one thing is good enough for you to, learn from where you are at your own comfort zone. I mean, when I say comfort zone, at your own place, you don't have to spend money. If you're open enough to ask for multiple perspectives at your own age, then you will definitely have to know that you're not alone, that you're going through. Asking perspective from your elders, it is going to give you their experience. Sharing, in the beginning of the session, I said, wisdom lies within. So the insight comes from inside, the sight from inside. So it's not going to lie. Always experience and wisdom is true, because for that person, it is true. Maybe in your experience, it may not be, but it cannot be false. So gain that experience, take that as an insight, and see whether when you're applying, it is working for you or not. So by all these ways, you're going to come out of this perfection syndrome. Especially when you want to do some work, don't always, expect that this thing has to be 1000% perfect. Only then you can act on. Then you will keep acting on. Trial and error is also important. Act on it. Do it now and rectify it. Thomas Alva Edison, when he lost everything in the fire accident, he lost his lab, he lost a lot of inventions. It is once said that when somebody asked, the journalist asked, everything is gone to ashes. So what are you going to do now? He said, I found, when the bulb invention happens, he said, I've not failed. I found 10,000 different ways how not to fail. That's how, the invention of bulb, when it happens, when he lost everything, he started from scratch. So there's nothing called perfect. There's nothing called perfection. It is the progression is going to make you perfect. It is the practice that you're going to make you perfect. Okay? Do everything on your own. When I say this, we all have 24 hours in a day and limited energy capacities as beings. So if you want to do on all your own, you will end up doing it for lifetime. Do not do this mistake. Instead, either outsource, automate, or delegate. I will also be telling you as a hack, there are 4D technique, which is found in all time management books. Okay. So first thing is outsource. Weigh the opportunity before you want to outsource. What is outsourcing? Is when you don't have time and neither you have time nor an expertise, you can always outsource to an expert. When you're outsourcing, make sure that you weigh the opportunity cost. How much is it going to cost you? Take some time. If it's going to be a reasonable cost, it is better to save time and effort and energy more than the cost involved in it, because you can always multifold it. Okay. But if you're losing your energy, your body levels, your brain power and all that, it is going to take time for you to pump up in. Best thing is to outsource to an expertise and leave it to them. Take your burden off your shoulders and focus on high impact activities. The next one is automate. Automate in a lot of ways. I'm going to give you a clues as to how you can automate even as a homemaker. And then comes delegate. Part of your workload. What is delegation? You're going to give your part of your workload to the team member who is also working towards common goal. Okay. It could be family members. It could be your team members outside the work environment, or it could be whom you can delegate. It could be some friends that you want to just share your burden, and then as a voluntary, may have a monetary aspect to it or may not of it. But if you are not properly delegating, you will not find that the common results are achieved. So before you want to do that, check your ego. Are you okay for somebody else doing? Because you might want to interrupt, because your ego says that it has to be done in a certain way, but their style of working and all that could be different. So you have to synergize. You have to find that trusted person. You have to find that expertise, and then you may want to do that. But checking all this at a family routine is not possible. So you might want to accept who they are and then offload your burden so that you are able to concentrate on your high priority task. Okay. Examples of delegating can be chores like washing dishes or putting it into the dishwasher and then taking it off, or clothes, folding clothes. Those things can be, house chores basically, and even finances for that matter. But I would rather recommend, if you are a woman, please be involved in finances. We as a family have started taking that as a habit. We recently have attended a training program in money management as a family. I've taken my 9-year-old also for the program. You might want to ask me, why 9-year-old for now? The awareness that she has got from that program, it's an experiential learning. That itself is an added advantage for us. It is not just on the screen, but we happen to do a lot of activities with our own hands and legs. So moving our body, as it's a physical memory, so it's going to be with us for a long time. And the practices that we are doing together is also helping us move in a common direction that we all want to be in. So right now we are also started talking money language. I'll tell you, money is a taboo topic in our culture. Talking about money itself is not appropriate thing, at least in my family. That you do right stuffs, God will take care of the money. You keep doing what is duty of yours. The rest of the things, the money will follow through. All these limiting beliefs, right? I'm your father and you can't earn more than me. So there are a lot of limiting beliefs like this in our mind, in our way of life, that we're not able to achieve our true potential. Okay. It's good that the youngest I have seen in that program is 7 years. You may want to argue how much they are able to observe, but you never know. There are few concepts which can go deep dive into the child's memory that is going to help them long term. For now, after taking all three of us attending to the program, it is very easy for us to sit and talk about money. Earlier, it used to be a stressful topic. We procrastinate that main topic every month. But now we look forward, because we learned the jar mechanism. We learned how the techniques of managing, and what are the hacks when it comes to managing it, what is needed for our family, how we want to maintain it, and all that. Suppose we fail in certain things, we exactly know what is the loophole, what happened, where did we fail, and what is needed for us to get back to track. So with this financial management, I as a woman is confident right now, these are the expenses expected for our family. And when we are able to minimize these transactions, it is going to save our general operations, and we're going to save that money for bigger investment. So we are able to talk, we are able to see where our flaws are, where we are overspending, and where we are underspending. We understood our personalities of money management. And even my daughter is able to think through as to what she will do every day in order to earn money down the lane as passive income, in order to contribute to society, in order to do something for the school, for the community. So it is a great step towards our future goals. It is also a skill building. Okay. Now there are certain things you can automate, like groceries. If you're able to have a grocery list which is repeated every week, you might want to include that. Or what else you can automate? You can automate a shopping list. Amazon is one of the greatest tool for automating. You can have subscription in it. If you're very clear that these are the things that is needed for every week, you can add it as a subscription. And then what else can you automate? When it comes to work tools, you will have a lot of tools which has a subscription mode in it. All you have to do is just subscribe, and then it keeps on. Even the payment mode is automated, so you don't have to worry. You just have to take a printout of the statement, download of the statement, and you know exactly this is the subscribed amount for every month. There are many things that you can automate, even in kitchen. There are apparatus and utensils which is going to automate our work easier in terms of saving time, like the flour making machine, any gadgets that you would find very useful, which is saving your life, your time, energy, and money. You might want to add it here. Okay. Then multitasking. We just spoke a lot about multitasking. So do that as a monotasking, but multitasking comes as a myth and mistake at all skills that you want to require, that you are going to see that in the latter discussions. So the point in multitasking is, do multitasking only when you have arrived at the mastery level. Until such time, go for a deep focus, monotasking. Underestimating time is another thing. Scheduling tasks ineffectively is also a mistake that we all do, because we end up never-ending circle of tasks. We mostly feel devastating because we don't have proper planning. We may not be good at scheduling. We may not be able to also see what is the consequence if you don't plan well. Okay, it's a skill by itself. So scheduling. See, it's a good thing that in US, even your appointments, whether it's a eye checkup or a dental checkup or an regular checkup, everything is automated, everything is scheduled in a way that it is actually putting us in track. Okay, it is adding to our productivity. If you're not able to track time, what happens is time tracking reveals unexpected trends which is pop up, and courage is more strategic approach to time management. If you are able to track time tracking, it is going to help you have the courage also to handle the unexpected ones. But if you're in a firefighting mode, I'm telling you, without having a proper time consciousness and proper planning, it will easily lead you out to burn. Okay, you can use time limits tools. How many of you are using your own phone to limit your time? Because there are apps which can tell you, if you're using Apple phone, it can tell you the screen times. You can watch your screen time average every week to understand how much you're spending. As I already said, remember, one notification is going to cost you 25 minutes to come back to the focus. So if you're on the phone for 3 hours, then imagine how much of distraction that you've got. Okay, and then track even the smallest task. Review your performance regularly to stay on task. How are you going to do this? You can take a frequency of either daily task, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and build your performance personal development plan. You document your own goals, skills to master, charts, reports with your partner. Okay, never think about tomorrow. That is another thing that we want to we already seen in terms of reducing your anxiety levels. Why are we not supposed to think for tomorrow? Having a vision and long-term goals. If you're not able to think for tomorrow, then you will not be able to plan well. If you do not know what is the point B that you have to reach, then your planning is not going to be effective. So if you're not going to be thinking about future, then you're not effectively managing the present now. So always have goals set. Without vision, you cannot create the results you want, and you won't feel the joy in the progress. Think about your time and efforts you invested today will contribute your time reality goals. Develop strategical thinking and set short-term goals to have extraordinary goals. Continue contingency plan. Continue contingency plans. When it, contingency is important to handle the emergency situations, because you should not be hit by a surprise, or you should not bog down, oh no, this I didn't expect. Always expect the unexpected. That is the key for you to handle the contingencies and plan for it ahead. Creating contingency is also to make sure that people around you doesn't get affected also. Even if it's a work environment or a family, goals that you need to achieve. When you're with people around you, you're not only protecting your time, resources and energy, your brain power, not only for yourself, it is also for your loved ones. Especially when you have elders, it is important that you plan ahead in terms of medical, in terms of their retirement. Apart from their own planning, it is important for you to also think ahead. Thereby, you're able to curb all those, you can avoid all those anxiety, pump-in happenings. Then saying yes to everything. This is also connected to how well you're able to manage your time. Not able to cope up with stress. Why? The very reason is you don't have boundaries. Setting boundaries means you exactly know what your high priorities and saying no to the rest of it. If you're sticking around your work hours and leave work at your office, or even when at family situation, there should be some time that you're spending in kitchen. It should not be all the time. There should be some time you're spending on your TV. It should not be all the time. There should be some time that you're spending at work. It should not be all the time. So remember, your weekly, the work rhythm also has to be some cyclic pattern. It has to be having a break in between. That's why there is a Sunday break for a regular routine. In case you're working from home and then you're an entrepreneur, take a break in between your weekly schedule. That break has to happen. It should not be looking at your emails or phone notifications related to your work again. It should be off your work. Then it's the same way with your relationship. When you're taking a break, it's absolutely fine in terms of setting boundaries, saying no. When you're at your break, saying no to any kind of triggers that is going to trigger either your triggering to go back to your work or triggering to go back to the same old issues. I know it's difficult for you when you have to create your family situations, but have the boundaries set in your mind. Okay, this is what I want. This is what is my goal. These are something that I cannot contribute. It is absolutely okay to say no to people, to situations, you don't have to be there for all the parties. If you're, you don't have to stay all the time informed. It is okay. That is when you can gain time to do more of your task, high priority task. That is when it is productive. So similarly for spouse, you set your boundaries. This is your sleep time. This is your wake up time, or this is your time for you to work. This is the time that I can contribute for kitchen. This is the time for vacation that you can be available. It could be mutual also, right? So it is not that only you are putting a boundary. It is also accepting other person's boundary too. Then you can see yourself working in a very safe environment. I must tell you, productivity also happens. The focus also is going to, the brain is let you be focused only in a safe environment. Suppose you have not, what do you mean by safe environment when it comes to family, when it comes to work? At work, everybody is working towards common goal. They are informed about it. But at family, they're not informed, because most of the times we don't speak among ourselves. The spouse doesn't know what the other person wants, each other wants in terms of their dreams, in terms of their aspirations or everyday choices. It is very important to, communicate to the other person, your better half, in terms of what your priority task, what you think are going to be a priority task. You have to have a convergence. When you have a convergence, then it is easier for you to go on. Then you can have a productivity level. It is the same case with your children. You may want to explain your goals. You never know that They will help you. They will remind you, Mama, this is your call time. Are you not late for your call? You will be surprised to see how they want to be part of your goals. So setting boundaries is just not, saying, I don't want you. It is all the more involving people, but you need to be very clear. What are those toxic situations, people, and habits that you don't want? And what are those productive habits, people, situations that you want to create for yourself? Okay. Persistence exposed to stress can also put you to health and performance at risk. So you need to find your stressors. Stressors can be, as I said, it can be from your work environment, your colleague next to you, or it can be from any of your friends at social media, on social media, or triggers from family. Your own spouse or your own children can be your stress. Your own parents can be your stressor. You need to identify that and practice journaling so that you search for patterns and look into the coping mechanism to stop your stress levels. Developing healthy responses to stress levels. How do you cope up? Subtly handling your boundaries is what going to help you in a long way. It is not going to say, hey, you know what? I don't like you. You're toxic. You don't have to come into my room. I don't want any disturbance. Instead, prioritize your calmness in you, and also learn how to assertively speak for yourself. Every day, practice calmness through practicing journaling or meditation or yoga postures, walking alone for some time. All these things are going to help you set your boundaries very clearly, have thoughts in you very clearly, and that's when you can communicate that same thoughts clearly to the other person. Okay, these are some healthy responses how you can manage your stress levels. Now, another mistake that we all do is being busy instead of being effective. Busy time doesn't bring you closer to your goals. You will definitely feel anxious and unsettled. How you have to maximize the productive time. These are some hacks. You're going to apply the Pareto principle. How will you apply the Pareto principle here? So I'm going to explain to you Pareto principle in this call. And next, the best thing that you have to do is observe this Pareto principle, how it is in your own family, in your own work, at your work environment, in your neighbor, in your community. How, this Pareto principle is beautifully translated in our own community. They say when it comes to time management, focus on 20% of the task that gives you highest value which is going to give you the 80% of results. Okay. For example, if you have 100, okay, if you have 10, a list of items that you need to complete, all you're going to take is 20% of those highest value tasks, which is going to give you highest amount of return. It could be in terms of money. It could be in terms of time and efforts. If you feel that, okay, if I finish that one meal, right, then I will be free because my child will not disturb or my spouse will, they are fed good enough so that I have that 3 hours of time. If I complete this one recording, right, I can automate this and rest of the 6 months, I don't have to do any other recording. You're going to do that first. They call it as eat that frog, right? So do that. That is on a prioritization level, but conceptually doing that 20% of high priority task, which is going to give you 80% of your results. You don't have to achieve that 100%, but at least 80% of the result is achieved by certain activities. That 20% activities you're going to pick and choose and do in your high peak of energy levels. We just spoke where your energy and focus level is at peak during the day. You're going to pick and choose those times and do that. Or you may want to just carry on with your morning times with those high priority tasks, which is going to give you that 80% of completion of that satisfaction level during the daytime, during your entire day. Okay. There is also another angle to Pareto principle. This 80-20 rule plays with all aspects of life and all aspects of people, situations everywhere. You can also see this, that out of 100 people, only 80 people will do the task in an organization. Okay. On a normal mode. And out of that 80 people, only 20 people will be highly productive. And out of the 20 people, there will be 80-20 principle there also, where only 80% will be doing that highly productive, and yet they may not achieve their results, their 100% results. But the 20% of 20% will be the top 4% who will be the, you must have seen that big fours or big fives in the industry, right? Those are all the top 4 people out of that 80% of the 20% who will be successful. Okay. Leaving the math, what I want you to observe is, for example, in this group, you must have seen there are 100 people. The 80% of 100 people would have seen that message. And out of that 80%, 20% have joined it. Okay. You must have seen 8 people or 10 people who have joined the group, who have joined the call. Now, out of that 8 or 10, only 20% will take action. You may be wondering to see how many people you may want to assess your own self. Are you part of that 20% of 80% who will apply and start seeing results? Or you may not want to apply but still want to be in that 80% of learning stage. At least you have not gone to that rest of the 20% where they never showed up. Okay, you may want to see whether you want to be that constant 20% who won't show up, or you want to fall part of that 80% who will show up, or you want to become part of that 20% of that 80% who will not just show up, also take action. Okay, this is how you apply everywhere. It is the industry norm. This Pareto principle works really well across any industry, across any institution, even at school. In a classroom, you must have seen only those 4 people, 5 people in the whole class of, let's say, 100 people, the whole grade, are the movers and shakers. The rest of the people will still be productive, but they have not achieved the 100% results. And the remaining people will still be there, but yet not be there, right? Okay, with this Pareto principle, I want to, wrap up the session. I want you to go back to the group, and even before you go back, after this call, just take a few minutes to reflect. What are the concepts that you learned? What is the new ones that you learned that you want to apply in your life? And what are those eye-opener moments that, oh, I was doing this mistake too? And what do you want to correct yourself? 1 action items, 1 concept and 1 action that you want to take until we meet on next Saturday. I want you to be that 4% people who would not only learn, increase awareness, and also action on it. Okay? As a method to pay forward, you might want to go to the group or share as your comments in the comment box below. What is the learning that you gained from this, 2 hours? And what would you want to recommend somebody that, this is what is, this is 1 hack that I learned in order to increase my productivity level. You may want to try this and see that your confidence level is also increasing by establishing that connect in the group. Okay. Until I see you in the next week. See you. Bye-bye. Take care.